Hello. We should be live now.
Hello.
You're coming out clear, Rue. That's good. Get some stuff set up here and welcome to the stream, Tom Tom. It is another Wednesday. Well, those tuning in, welcome to the Resonite Art Team Office Hours. I am Aegis Wolf, and this is Rushen of the Resonite Art Team, here to answer any questions you have about the art team, about creating things within Resonite, or using Resonite as a tool for creation, or about the platform itself in general. And I don't mind, either of us probably wouldn't mind Blender questions or other kind of creation software stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah, we use quite a bit of different things in our workflows. Welcome to the stream, Colatorium and Amelia. Over here in a nice, peaceful
I still
opening
have to
area
try
in
out the
between rocks. Hmm?
the new Blender like
Five
CAD tools. Well, I
cat
have the new
tools.
update. I just they added what was it called?
Sign distance fields?
Yes, they added sign distance fields, and I wanted to try that.
I believe those are via geometry nodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty interesting. It's really good to, like, you may not have the right topology with what you want right away, but you can use it as like a,
The same plant.
oh, okay, I just hear like a Windows doop, and I'm like, what? What happened? Microslop, are you doing anything? No. Alright, I'm gonna turn up Rue's voice. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty much in broadcast, where it means it's like my voice isn't spatialized, or it doesn't sound like it's in 3D, so I just made yours pretty much the same now. Say
Cool.
something, Rue.
Do I sound okay for you?
What about now?
Testing.
Audio level should be good. Sweet. Yeah. So, for those tuning in, you can ask a question within Twitch chat by ending it with a question mark, because it will pop up within the Twitch chat we have right here. So we have like a general Twitch chat on the side where you can see it, and anyone who subscribes or sends bits or asks a question, it pops up on the right hand side there. And we do have a question here too. But before we get to that, we also, for each office hours, or any of the office hours that the staff in Resonite do, we create on our Discord a forum post for people to ask ahead of time questions for the streams, because we put them also on Resonite, or YouTube, the VODs. And yeah, for those who want to ask ahead of time or aren't able to watch the streams live, they'll be able to see those streams and answers on our YouTube channel. So, only have one so far, but this is what we have in a previous one. We'll set up an answer here. This one from Colin the Cat: is the essential submission repo still being looked at, or was that a one-time thing? I think that's something that kind of fell through the cracks with the amount of stuff that we've been doing at the latter end of the year. Something that we do want to look at and try to do, but keep in mind it's something that is temporary and kind of hard to maintain when it comes to, like, looking through and submitting these things. Originally was just me doing it, and with the amount of responsibilities that I have on the team, I can't really do it alone. Plus, there's a few others that have been helping within their time. I could definitely bring it up as a concern to the team as well too. But once the main thing, if folks want to have easier access to content that people make on the platform, please, was it the within the GitHub? There's the GitHub issue about the workshop system that is a feature that is planned. And what that allows people to do is submit content, whether it be assets or like objects, avatars, gadgets, stuff that isn't worlds, in the same way you would submit a world. It would be its own category as well, with like subcategories where you can search amongst it. As well as like it's a stepping stone towards the marketplace system as well too. Which the only other
Mm-hmm.
addition to that is just, well, adding a licensing system to it and payment processes, which probably would take the longest because of the red tape, but the implementation of a workshop system takes less time. So if you do want to see that, please upvote the features you'd want. I feel like this year, starting this year, especially with this is the first art team office hours of the year too. I have a feeling that this year we'll have a lot of good things for the community and team, and like anyone who uses Resonite, like it. I have like a really good feeling a lot of cool things will be coming up. Things might start out a little bit slow because people are coming in from holidays, travel, etc., but
Yep.
it's definitely a deserved rest.
Everyone's still trying to wake up from all the traveling jet lag.
Oh yeah, and
And it's
yeah.
still cold where I'm at. It's gonna get colder.
Oh boy, it is January.
Yeah. For some reason, December was really hot, so yeah, we're expecting quite a good freeze.
You obtain a debt of cold, and now I guess the weather's paying for it now. I guess
Mm-hmm.
stay toasty though. Ah,
Ah, the
now
particle emitters.
we'll get to that question in a bit. I do have an example I can bring out too, and we'll showcase. So let's start with one of the questions from in-game chat here. This one from Qualitorium. Hold on. Qualit. Oh gosh. Qualitorium. Yes. How do I make UIX not so scary to learn? It still feels like a big weird black box of components. I believe a way to think about that is how you're structuring. Actually, oh, that's not a
No,
good
yeah, yeah.
analogy.
Because
Well,
like the structure of the UIX containers are all pretty much the same. No matter like what you're making.
yeah,
And
yeah,
once you learn that structure, then you can just memorize it or make your own templates and use them in those places. We provide a bunch of examples for those in the essentials that Ryuvy has made, including buttons and things like that. All of those examples can be combined to make some UI just out of the prefabs, or you can take those things apart, look at how they're built, and then apply that to your own UIX. There's also like sizing guides and tools that you can get that will show you if you want this graphic to be this size and keep it within this ratio, just use this number, and it's like a calculator. I think Aegis has one that we use for some of the UIX stuff we do in here.
yeah.
I think it was made by Ryuvi.
Yes, it is a. I'm gonna probably poke them about it, see if it's something ready to release to people if they want to like build within our style. And what I mean by that is like what kind of numbers for like spacing, text size, and such.
Yep.
Yeah, people can make guides for stuff like that using UIX for UIX, which is like really neat in a way where you can just build tools for tools, buy tools that you
Generally, though, the
use.
most important thing about UIX is that it's set up in a kind of like child parent structure. So you're going to have the canvas, which is the top of the line thing. That's what everything is being parented under. And then under that, you can have containers that can either be buttons or images or things like that. And then you can put the same things inside those containers. And it just depends on how deep you want to go. If the container is exactly the same size as the canvas, then it will cover up whichever one is underneath it. So you can make pages that way and have them hide each other dynamically. Um, with the way UIX works as well is if a component that's underneath something, like say an image, is disabled, it will automatically scale all the things around it to kind of make up for that missing space. Kind of like if you were to turn off word wrap in a word processor. Um, so yeah, definitely just take a look at the in-game examples and look at the structure. And it once you learn the structure, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It only gets more complex once you're starting to work on like UI that changes its size dynamically. And that means like things like facets.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna have to worry about aspect ratios and if it's like, well, rotated like this, or if it's a square, if it's like an even size on
Mm-hmm.
either side. I had to account for that when working on like Windows 98 looking facets within the essentials, which that was a fun side project I did. I'll make
And
more down the line.
speaking of facets and UIX and designing those, we also have facet examples that you can look at, not only as an example of like how they function, but how they work and how you can apply them to the dash. You can just open an inspector on them, check them out. So yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of examples in there.
And with this year, with us also wanting to increase the amount of documentation and tutorials within Resonite, there's definitely something we can look at to help ease
Mm-hmm.
like the lack of knowledge that some people have with learning this stuff, which definitely can be challenging. Yeah, like originally I was even like gonna say comparing it to building a website, but that doesn't apply to everybody. Like
Yeah,
people that are also like learning this stuff are just brand new to this thing. So, yeah. But it is very similar to how you do that because it's like hierarchies. Got like your top container, as Rue said, and then it gets nested down more and more and more and more as deep as you go. So, our next question is from Grand UK. What are you gonna make first with Resonate Link? I honestly don't know. I am not that much like versed in like written programming. If I had the knowledge and know-how, I'd probably figure out how to interface Resonite with Blender to essentially speed up our workflow for creating content for Resonite. To basically like, well, if I want to position not only
well, we
like,
could do that easily with a Python script. We could make a we could make like a Resonite Blender plugin.
yeah, and it would just
That'd be
basically
interesting.
talk with the Resonite Link API and imagine being able to place audio sources with the exact like amounts and like scale or
Or even objects.
yeah, objects. Um, even if
Like
it's
say
like
you wanted to use Blender's scatter thing. and then just have a Python script that creates objects on those particle points.
Yeah, and be able to place things like colliders, uh, reflection probes, spatial variables, particle systems, and having like a visual of how big the particle system emitter is. If it's like a cone emitter, sphere emitter, same with like a sound effect too, or in spatial variable to show like the actual bounds. Make like some kind of in Blender gizmo to kind of showcase it. I think that's what like I would be totally up for doing. And I
Mm-hmm.
know some people I know are going to be trying to figure out how to get Hammer editor and regards of source engine stuff to interface with Resonite, and that'll be very interesting.
I was trying to think of a way you could use it as like a tool inside of a game, where you have an external program running like the creation and deletion of slots to perform either like animations for the scene or like interactive objects or even like a game that is running basically in code, but the interactions are done through like the API.
You could definitely do that. I mean, if there's a feature that we don't have yet, you could probably have it run externally and have it work here. People have done that using WebSockets and plugins and
Just wait for someone to
OSC.
animate Bad Apple with ResoLink.
I mean, someone did that with the slicer material as well. That was interesting. And text render in here, and well, I gotta think of something else too. Oh man, someone's going to make like a working emulator in here
Mm-hmm.
using that. Oh man, that'll be cool. There's a lot of possibilities. Though I would have to learn Python for it a lot more. Yeah. Next question, also from Noppet. I guess to kind of add on to the previous question, my lack of uh like programming skills in regards of like typing it up instead of like visual scripting. So I'm used to things like oh, and not but for those unaware, it's kind of like a pet peeve, like an I guess an in joke of us saying like what is a pet peeve of ours. And the typong's the it's the opposite of it, but yeah. What about you?
um, I can't quite think of a good one right now. I think, if anything, it might be DDS files still. Like,
Uh
because when working with a lot of the foliage, right, having to make them manually for each iteration of something is annoying, especially since there's no good modern tools for doing that, since a lot of engines do it automatically now.
what
Uh,
if someone made something using Resonite Link for that?
well, you wouldn't need Resonite Link for it.
Actually, you're right, because it wouldn't
It would just
require
be an external program.
processing the image itself. For those wondering what a DDS file is, it's a texture file or displaying images or textures and models. And a feature on it that is really useful that a lot of games utilize is what are called bitmaps. And essentially, it's like a level of detail or LODs for textures. Like the farther away you are from a texture, or like a an object that has a texture, more blurry it would have. And using like custom setup ones, you can make the object look a certain way the farther away you go. People even make
Nice.
custom things to where say you have an image or something and you go closer to it and it disappears. People can even do that. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
there's a lot of stuff you can do with bitmaps that aren't just like multi-resolution things. And being able to specify exactly how you want it to work rather than just letting something automatically do it is really helpful. The only issue is that in modern times, you're not really meant to make them anymore. So a lot of the tools that are used to make DDS files are super old, either command line things or like hanging on by a thread being held up by a single developer somewhere, like plugins for GIMP. Yeah, but that's what makes stuff look good. Is like say with a lot of the plants that we did for the tropical black and the Dawn style, both have custom DDS so that they don't disappear whenever you fly away from them, but they still lower in detail. That way they're still seen.
I think a thing that either I don't know if someone already has made a GitHub issue of this. If not, then I'm probably gonna do it today. Make a GitHub issue of like a wizard, like a UI wizard, where you plug in the images individually, or even a single image, and you can edit the image and automatically compress it into a DDS image with maps. That would be pretty cool. I know Raivi, another uh, member of the art team, as well as they also work on the engineering team, are creating a tool where you can combine the color channels of four individual textures into one texture, and vice versa by being able to unpack textures into their respective channels and then being able to combine them in any order you want. And that'll help with, say, trying to convert assets from one game engine to the pipeline that Resonite uses. Just gonna be one thing
Speaking of
that.
which,
Go
by the
ahead.
way, um, something that was updated that I'm not sure many people know about is information on the PBS Metallic and Specular and stuff like that. Uh, there is a link, I believe it's on the wiki page for both those materials, to a set of presets for specifically Substance Painter, at least for right now. If you want to make stuff in here and you're using Substance Painter, I highly recommend grabbing those presets. They are made by someone named Gareth48. They are set up to output the files into stuff that Resonite uses. And the reason why you want to use these is because they made some presets for stuff called packed height and packed ambient occlusion. Um, what that means is you can make a PBS metallic material with all of the map except the height map, if you go with the height version, and the metallic map and the roughness map are all packed into a single image. That way you can save like texture memory. You don't need another image and save space while still having a quality like item or texture. Very helpful.
Yes. I think another good addition sometime in the future is a Blender node setup. And actually, I think this would probably be relevant for, say, if someone made a Blender add-on or yeah, a Blender add-on that would interface with Resonite using the Resonite link is a shader setup for it too. I have like
I
the
wanted to showcase these.
proper things for it. Oh yeah, that's the snowboard you made recently.
Yeah, this is the snowboard that was used for the winter version of Resmonic. The people were riding it around. Made a bunch of different textures for it, and I wanted to have a ton of different ones. So
Oh yeah, you can
I
see it
used
right
the
there.
packed height map on this one. Um, some of these have height details, like the rim on this is a height detail. And in case people wanted to like add their designs and stuff, it was just good to showcase that part. You'll see that they're green. So you have the regular metallic map, which doesn't actually use the green channel. And so that means we can just use that as the height.
Yep, and that
There you
means
go.
these two fields in the material are
Yep.
or the textures occupying two fields in the same material.
Yep. And it's
So
just reading different information for each of those fields based on the different like RGB values. So yeah, that's how you can kind of use it, and you can make a bunch of different materials like that just super efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you don't want to do like height, say if your object doesn't have any like height details like parallax or anything like that, you can just put it into the ambient occlusion. Um, and if your object has ambient occlusion, then even better.
There we go. I can just put it right here.
Do we have any other?
We do. One moment. We have this one. Actually, we have a new one as well after this one. This one also from Qualitorium. Made anything with particle subemitters yet? Anything cool with particle subemitters? Alright. I do. Actually, a
I
couple of
unfortunately have
things.
not had time to play with them.
Well, I did make a couple of things you can take apart and look at too, if you want. So,
Although I did
let's.
see people making fireworks with them that I liked a lot. There's some really cool ones out there.
This one's not as visible as if I do this. And maybe make the material darker. Alrighty. So this right here is the first example of me messing around with the new sub-emitters in photon dust. So this sphere emitter here is just raining down water droplets. And as you
Yeah, I
can
like
see,
those.
there's like little like droplet explosions in the point where it impacts, as well as these little ripple rings. It's a really cool effect that you can use with this. The only thing is, like, probably isn't as realistic to have the ripple effect when it hits you, but having just the little water droplets sprinkle out when it hits something is definitely really good.
Oh, they said it's hard to see on stream. Probably we might need to make the particles a bit darker
Or the D.
because of compression
Oh, or, yeah,
and bit
brighter.
rate.
I'll just make it, material. I'll make it cyan. Particles, particle trailment. Oh yeah, I gotta get the trails. Same material as well.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
There we go. Yeah, that's definitely better. So you got like little droplets that sprinkle out when it hits, and as well as the little ripples. Sub emitters are going to be really good for like decals. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you have a weapon that hits the ground or wall or something, you can have it actually do something, but without duplicating an object at all.
Makes me think we should redo the particle effect for the blah laser
Oh man, yeah.
because it has all those sparks and the heat like spots. And previously, all of those were done with just like multiple particle systems being moved around with like an empty slot.
Pretty much sums up this one, although I'm going to save this version just so it's more visible next time if someone wants to use it as an example. And the other thing that I got here, we go to the Resonite Essentials under Examples, and right here, this thing right here, I type in, for example, a value of 2, it's not working. What?
I see it.
Wait, how come you see it and I don't?
You don't see the fireworks?
No.
Oh, weird. I see them. They look cool. I wish they had sound.
Okay, I guess duplicating it fixed it. Yeah, they don't have sound right now because it's purely just particles. Although, I think that is a GitHub request to add, like, the random audio clip player to actually play at the sounds of sub-emission. So if
Oh
folks
yeah.
want that kind of functionality, either make the GitHub issue if it's, like, if it doesn't exist, or upvote the one that does. I know Fruix is looking at, actually I can even angle this so I'm not looking directly up. Roman
You know what
candles,
I want?
anyone?
I want those little rockets that they sell in like rocket pods at fireworks. They're like little gray bullet-looking cylinders. They go like whistling whenever they go off.
Hmm. I have made this color customizable. If you click on like any of the colors here, and it changes to more of like a red trail.
Oh,
If you're ever making something glowing in like graphics or whatnot, it's good to desaturate the color a little bit. That way it kind of looks bright. So let's
you have
change the
another question, I believe, as well.
color here. Well, that's the thing. I'll change the color of this. And that would make it green trails. There we go. You can even see the color of the light that gets exploded also as a color too. Made it yellow. Alright. But yeah, anybody can mess around with this. It clamps the value at 10. I'll just show it for example. But yeah, once you have like a lot of particles, do keep in mind the performance.
More, more.
More. I accidentally typed in 100, or it was at 64 once in a world. That was interesting. Yeah, so there is definitely a lot of examples out there already, even like when it was just released. A user by the name of Yuffie Euphoria also created a really good set of particles for fireworks as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend checking it out. Now, this one is another question by Grand UK. When designing UIX for stuff, have you ever considered using the UIX builder functions to make it programmatically? Uh,
I mean, me and Aegis are both not programmers, so anything we can do in game is probably what we're going to be working with.
a lot of the
It's also just more familiar.
yeah, because like a lot of the building blocks of UIX are done via the code, so that those on the art team can work on it in a more visual sense of like, hey, this is how, like the layout would be, the design and all that. It's like it's like that one meme if people seen it, where it's like the graphic designer versus like the coder or whatnot, making like a fancy switch for a dark mode on a website. If you know, you know.
Also, and I believe there is a way to do this on code, but at least for when we're making it in game, say we have something that we use all the time, like buttons or pieces and parts of things, the templates, we can literally just duplicate those in the inspector, drag and drop them in places, and you can't quite do that style of workflow programmatically, at least from what I understand. You could probably like copy and paste pieces of code, but it just I don't know. It doesn't feel as fluid as being able to take a button, duplicate it, drag it to another page, and have that button be on the other page, or duplicate entire pages as templates. Say like the help tab, for instance. Um, the behind the scenes in the help tab, there are like template pages. We take one, duplicate it, add things to it, and type into it, and then we move it to its correct category. And we can kind of just keep doing that, and we don't need to worry about constructing. the whole hierarchy from scratch, or trying to make sure everything matches up. We can just duplicate things and work with it in game in a more physical manner.
Yeah. And I don't doubt its validity and usefulness, especially like if it's done in a way where you can see your edits live and change live. But yeah, it just depends on the workflow of the people making the UI, more or less. Even though like some of us on our team are technically inclined to do stuff like that, but not everyone on the team. Qualitorium like commented bottle rockets. Yeah, you could totally make something like that using photon dust. And even make the bottle itself a rocket and have the soda stream just spill out behind it as it flies across.
Actually, I think someone's popping fireworks outside my house right now.
Uh-oh.
For like a full month after New Year's, people still pop fireworks.
Well, likely because they're finding time then to get off of their job, to have time off.
One of the fun things I used to do as a kid is after New Year's, I would go out into the yard where the fireworks had popped and see if I could find ones that didn't explode. Uh, and we would throw them in a fire.
Oh. As long as you're not roasting your marshmallows in it afterwards. Or during, rather. Now I want s'mores.
Yep. Feel free to ask us any more questions if y'all have any. Some of the stuff we've gone over is like UIX, materials, a little bit of Blender.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Oh, you know what? Did we go over the world that we're in here? Who made this and what is it called?
Here's a good question. We are in Daintree Garden by Watto Foxo.
Yeah,
From what I remember,
it's a nice light world.
they found some asset packs that Creator Jam shares with the community and used that to kit bash this world. So this world is pretty much made entirely in here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, from an earlier subject about the DDS files, I'm not sure if they're on the wiki yet. Um, I'll have to like poke Garrett to ask them if they're on there. I think he was gonna make a guide for how to do it, just in case people wanted to make their own DDS files. There are also tutorials on how to do it specifically for TF2, um, in case you really want to know how to do it.
I'm guessing for the spray.
Yeah, people use them for spray,
icons.
like animating sprays.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because they only let you upload an image, but if you like mess with the bitmap, you can technically animate it. So, yeah.
It's almost like animating those or setting up those lenticular images where, like, depending on the angle you look at, it changes the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And you can print that stuff physically and add like a special kind of like a sheet of plastic on top as like miniature lenses that do it. It's interesting.
Non-uniform scaling.
Is that another snoppet you thought of?
No, that's well, kind of. It's also the next question. If you want to
Oh
grab
boy.
it
Oh
out.
boy, here we go again.
Okay, so Qualitarium asks, speaking of making stuff entirely in Resonite, I know that you can do like janky skew transforms by scaling and rotating child slots. Is that one, recommended, and two, something you ever find yourselves using? While you can do that, and nothing is stopping you from doing it, you should not non-uniformly scale objects. It can cause a whole host of issues, especially if you're making something interactive. A lot of people sometimes even have things on their avatar that parents them to stuff. When you have an object that is parented under another object that is scaled like this, it will then adopt that scaling, even when it unparents. So users can get their scaling messed up. Objects can not function properly, especially if the scale is like really off. Say you shoot something with like a decal or something that sticks to the surface. That object that sticks will immediately take on that scale relative to its own size. So like this little tiny dart, like a Nerf dart that you shoot at something, will become the size of a planet if the object it's parenting to is scaled up really small or large in the child object. Um, you can kind of use them for certain stylized things, but
It's something
it
you
would
got to keep
also
in
just be,
mind.
yeah. Generally, we try to stay away from it as much as possible. Um, the only case I can think of that we might have ever done this is when we negatively scaled a planter to mirror it without having to like go and actually mirror the geometry.
We did that with a
Um,
couch as well recently.
yeah, but in those cases, we made sure that they didn't have colliders, so that the collider that it was actually using for collision wasn't non-uniformly scaled. It was just a visual thing. And that's kind of the only safe way I would recommend using non-uniform scaled stuff. Um, yeah.
Yeah, like even if you have colliders on it, like if it's negatively scaled, usually things won't freak out when it's parented. Maybe like a user would if it is like a character parenter or something. So
Yeah.
it also, like, as cursed as it sounds, but you could technically use non-uniform scaling to parent a box and using certain math to create it into a trapezoidal prism and then bake the result as a baked mesh. I remember
Yeah,
that
if
years
you're
ago.
baking the object after
Someone tried to do
non-uniformly
that.
scaling it, that's probably fine because that sets everything back down to like the base numbers, like 111 scaling and whatnot, makes everything uniform again. Um, and that would also be fine. And uh, even if you have something that's already weirdly scaled and you just invert it, it will just be funky and then also inverted. So it'll be the same. And sometimes like if you have something that parents to it and it's inversely scaled, it'll just act like it's inverting the normals of the object, turning it inside out. So hopefully that answers the question. Um, if you ever need to make edits like that, I highly recommend like editing the object itself, or once you're done editing it, to bake it to finalize those edits. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I think when we were working on the Meta Movie project, at some point, the elevator that was in there that used to function. I don't think the final version ever had a functioning elevator. Um, it was scaled on the z-axis, so vertically, and we didn't realize it at the time. So when we added like a character parenter to it, people would like walk onto the elevator and get like Mario squished, just flattened.
Oh no.
That is actually how some of those like fun items work, like the bonk hammer. It non-uniformly scales people's heads down, but it resets them back afterwards. Um, and I think using that kind of scaling in gags is fine. Like that works pretty well for that.
And like people have non-uniformly scaled, for example, plants or foliage to kind of add variations to like the scale and like foliage to kind of make more
Oh,
natural.
another thing you want to be careful for, specifically for avatars, if you non-uniformly scale parts of your body, say like your chest or your legs or your arms, um, because of the way the hierarchy is set up, say I scale up my chest a little bit, that will make my arms and in turn my hands larger. when you grab objects and you're scaled like that, it will affect the objects that you grab. Um, and then when you let go, that object will be skewed and non-uniformly scaled as well. It'll like taint it.
Uh,
Oh, thank you, Decoy, for the raid.
okay, there we go.
The bird.
Hi. I just casually, non-uniformly scaled. Hello, welcome to the stream.
Yeah, because if you like non-uniformly scale, say like just your hand, it'll like mess with the anchors and stuff. You got to be careful with that. It'll also mess with like the tools you equip and all that jazz.
I'm gonna bring out a couple of objects to kind of demonstrate this.
Yeah.
A torus, a box or cube, and then a cone. There we go. The dreaded cone. Alright. So I'm gonna just do a 0.1 on the y-axis and ow. Oh, my arms became accordions. Or like the box springs. Actually, I don't think I can even grab anything like this.
Yeah, because
there we go.
Your hand gliders were 2D.
Actually, I could just do this. I mean, I'm sort of fine. I could. My laser is like beyond usable. Maybe I can grab it. Oh, I almost got it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I grabbed this box.
That's an example of what can happen.
This box is now permanently altered until you reset it scaled. I grab it again. It changes again. There. I'll grab something else too. This Taurus. Oh. And this cone. Wait, nope. There.
I had one avatar that was only slightly non-uniformly scaled on the wrists so that I could like grab objects or other players and just like slightly skew them and just italicize everything I touched.
I'm gonna see if I can drag and drop the value of one scale into.
From my point of view,
okay, I can breathe.
Like nothing was lining up. That was funny.
I can. Oh, even the collider for grabbing that Taurus is just. It's just broken. No, there we go. Actually, it looks like almost like a portal ring or something.
And that's the same kind of thing that happens if an object gets parented to something that's not uniformly scaled. It just kind of does that.
It'll just be there.
Yeah. Good example. It's fun too.
Well, we do have another question here from Qualitorium. Speaking of making stuff entirely in Resonite, I know you can do
that's the one we just answered.
Oh my god. Even my brain was like in looking 2 dimensions for a second. For a minute, actually. Help.
Also, for those just joining from the raid, remember that you can ask a question with a question mark at the end of it, and it'll show up on this little board that we have in Resonite, and we can answer any questions you have on any content-related things, Blender, Substance Painter, our workflows, or which like things you can do in the game. We were just explaining non-uniform scaling. So yeah. We have about 15 minutes left, I think. We did start a little bit early though.
Yeah, about 8 minutes technically.
Yeah.
But we can go a little bit longer since folks are here. If anybody wants to ask questions, please feel free. I do have something that I can showcase as well during the stream that I've been working on as well. I've showed you this a little bit earlier, but this right here in this little box that I got is yet again another projectile system.
the iterations.
Yes, it works fundamentally different than the other one. Whereas in the Resonite Essentials, I've created a example for projectile system. You can use it pretty much for a lot of different things. And essentially what this old projectile system would do would take a template object, launch it out at whatever velocity you set it to using the dynamic variables, and using like physics calculations built into the protoflux math, you can like have the projectile go at a specific trajectory or even guide it like a some kind of guided munition or even a drone or a vehicle almost. And this other projectile works a bit different, where instead of using a actual projectile that gets duplicated and sent across space, it uses a raycaster. Actually, I want to take the rock texture and put it on there. There we go. That's much nicer. And what this does, it uses the raycaster itself to travel across space and hit different surfaces. So I'm going to go into smooth transform or smooth POV. So I got the box here. If I hit this call button here, you can see the debug arrows kind of going across. Think of that as like an invisible projectile going through the air. And it has almost every single feature of the previous system with like ricochets, gravity, drag, velocity calculation, and like it'll have events when it hits something. Now, the reason why this system was also made is I realized there's a way to optimize a projectile system for certain things. So instead of duplicating slots for every single projectile seen shot out, imagine you just have a particle system that roughly is the same speed and have the same amount of bouncing capabilities of the ricochet, and then you got yourself an optimized projectile system, and then you just have events happen in either sub-emitters where it hits and actual events happen when it hits, say for player damage or like things being
Do a
placed
grid
on.
mesh.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That way you can go the bounces a little bit more refined. You just set this points to like 100.
And slap the rock texture on it, so it's not blindingly bright. Oh yeah, there
There
we
you go.
go. If I spam this, oh,
Oh,
it's hitting the ground. That's why. All right, I'm gonna move it over here. But if I spam this, you can see it's pretty consistent.
and
Of
pretty
course, it
performant. That's a lot of like raycasts and bullets being shot out pretty quickly
yeah.
without it's not really lagging anyone. So
The recent thing that I finished actually like a few hours prior to this stream is a problem where the ricochet projectile ends up going beneath the floor it gets like hit on or whatever surface it goes through it, unfortunately, and continues onward until the lifetime of the projectile ends. It doesn't prematurely end when it hits something. So I thought about it and I did like a couple of approaches, but the latest one I did is right here. And I kind of explain the math behind it. Whenever the projectile hits something, it uses a reflect node to get the direction it goes from it using the facing direction of the surface it hits. But the problem is, where it starts from is directly on the surface, so somehow it gets stuck and hits from the inside and then goes down. So what I did instead is I took the direction that it's going and the point here and just make the starting point just a little bit up. Just enough, and I can just adjust it if I want to. For the next point it starts its like raycasting sweep or whatnot. So I'd fix that. I should have thought about that a couple days ago, but
And
uh, it happens like that.
people can use this to make their own little weapons or other little things like
Mm-hmm.
fireworks, whatnot.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty close to our closing time.
Yeah. So
Usually this.
we do have a good question to kind of end off here. Let me just, actually, I can just delete it. We're gonna be closing out the world after this. But yeah. The last question we got here is also from Qualitorium. Just do this. Ooh. Alright. So, oh, that's my brush. Oops. Alright. It was a bit before my time, but whatever happened with Battle Knights? Now that performance is better, are there any plans to maybe bring that back? That is a good question to ask Chroma
Yep.
and the folks at the marketing team as well too, and community, because it's something that we want to start focusing on for the community. If I recall, the plans is to kind of make it more community driven in regards of its development.
Yeah.
Though with the systems that the team has been working on here and there in their off time, it definitely help with making things for games like that.
There just needs to be, I think, a little bit more planning put into getting it started back up at some point if Chroma decides to do that or whatnot. A lot of that's up to them. Like I said, like I just said, it's supposed to be a community-driven project, so we need to make plans to do stuff with the community if we want to start it back up or do anything with it. But that's going to be decided by the marketing team from
Yeah,
community. Yeah.
yeah. It's definitely something cool for the community can partake in.
Yep.
Yeah. With the way that the other events that we've done last year, we've definitely learned a lot when setting up events for the community. And throughout the year of 2026, definitely I can see us like improving on how we structure events and like allow the community to help create them. Yeah. Well,
For now, I think we'll call that right.
yeah, pretty much calls it for today.
Thank y'all for
Every
coming out.
Yeah, thank you. And as always, every single week we do the Resonite Art Team Office Hours every Wednesday around 5 p.m. CST. And do check in the Discord on the forums to see the next upcoming uh, Office Hours questions to submit, as well as the VOD on YouTube. And check out the other Office Hours that the others on the staff have are doing. I
Mm-hmm.
know Prime does his on Tuesdays on Discord. I think he's gonna eventually start doing them on Twitch. Don't know, but I
And they're all
believe
on the facet,
yes,
the
the
news facet,
events. Yeah,
or yeah, events facet.
events facet. Yes, and on Sundays, moderation office hours
Oh,
are also on
Discord.
there, and the Resonance podcast by Fruix and Cyro.
I believe a lot of the office hours also have discussion channels,
Yes,
including this one that you can ask questions in for when you're not here, in case you guys want to queue them up and then watch it later.
within the forum posts in Discord. Yes. Alrighty. You all take care
Don't forget
and
to
have a
pull out
good one.
the supporter thing.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. And thank you, one here, for. Oh, that's the old one. Alright, let's get the new one. Ha.
There
Voila.
we go. Thank you to all of these people for supporting Resonite and our continued development.
So many folks helping us out. And this is up to date. This updates every time one of you supports us. and thank you. You make this platform possible.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.